In this tutorial, I will teach you how to make a build-up for your dance beat in Ableton Live. In the previous video, I was making a dance beat and I was demonstrating how to make a simple dance beat in Ableton Live. Here is the beat. Alright. This beat is very simple. It has no dynamics like changing the volumes or even adjusting those 8 parameters. Let's play with those parameters to see their features. Let's go with the first parameter. The squash parameter is used for adjusting some squash of the drum kit. Here's how it sounds like. Well, you would hear the difference only if you have some more powerful speaker. This strongly depends on the frequency range. The next parameter is filter. This parameter is perfect if you are doing some party or live performance and you want to change the filter so that it makes a build-up. Let's try. Cool. Let's make a build-up with this filter. First of all, to make a build-up in Ableton Live, you have to extend this range. Right now, the song is looping at 5 beats. You have to move it to the right and make a copy, like this. You can also copy it with Ctrl D, which is duplicate. You can do the same with the bass line. So, in order to make a build-up, we need an automation clip for the filter. First, the filter's default value is around 2. I was setting it to 0 in my previous video. So let's set it to some value over 100, for example. Like this. And right-click, Show Automation. As you can see, the automation appears in red dashed line. You have to press anywhere on that line, like this, and you get an automation point. So you should also have one point here. But sorry, this is not the right order. I would have to delete this point and add a point to the beginning. Now click this second point and make it lower. Here's how it will sound like. Well, this kind of beat would sound more dynamic if I add some other drum kit. So you can do it by duplicating, but you should remove. Now you should add something inside, a clip that will contain only one sound. Like this, kick. This kick sound will be repeated. Let's try to hear the sound. Alright, but I would duplicate it and add one more beat between. So you should make the build-up simply by making those 2 notes, then duplicate the first clip and add a note between. Here's how it sounds like. Alright, but I would position this build-up to have one more beginning. Here, for example. I will only put 1 beat before it plays double beat, and then it would play 4 times until the next crash sound happens. Here's how it sounds like. Alright, but now I need some additional sound. To make the build-up even more powerful, I would like to add some crash sound. Why is this important? Because a crash sound usually rises. It behaves like a riser sound. You can go to sounds or samples. Go to samples and search riser. Here it is. You can select any of those risers. But this sounds great. I can add it to play between. Here's how it will sound like. Well, I don't like it, actually. It stops playing for no reason. But I have a better idea. Maybe put this to a lower volume, then add additional riser that will be white noise. Or you can add a crash sound and simply reverse it. I will show you how. Search crash in samples and select any of these samples. Alright. Just pick your favorite sample. Now hold Ctrl and drag it here. Right click, reverse clips. So here's the build-up. But wait, I just turned off the bass sound. I need to bring it back. And for the automation, I will set the volume. Right-click Show Automation and make it like this. Here and here. Alright. The kick sound from the duplicated drum kit is still too loud. There is already a frequency filter automation, so make sure that you add one point here and another point here. But you don't need this point, by the way. So here's how it will sound differently. Well, this build-up until the real part of the song comes needs just one more sound. I don't like because this crash sound happened shortly after the beat. So, try to move it, try to zoom in, and hold Alt if you cannot move it in the usual way. It needs one more kick or bass sound. So this sounds perfect, but you can choose any sound. Just make sure to add some reverb. Go to Audio Effects, Reverb. And here's how it will sound different with a reverb. I just changed the sample to try with different samples. Alright, the crash sound stops playing. I need to fix it. So you should uncheck this and press A on your keyboard. This will open the default mode. This will open the default mode. And when you click this square and move it to the right, it will fade in. This square, however, will fade out. So here's the difference between those two versions. So this sounds much better because there is a fade out in the crash sound. You can duplicate it if you want to have one more beat playing. Hold Ctrl and move it to the right. Here it is. Now you can also add a kick sound. Do the same and okay, that is pretty much it for this tutorial. This dance beat is becoming more serious. You can modify this second clip to make an even more dynamic bass sound. What do I mean? You can modify the notes so that, for example, it will be different by the end of the clip. Some notes that will play just in case of finishing the beat structure. Or you can add one more beat to make it bounce. You can add one more sound to make the bass sound bouncy. Alright, this bass sound is now much more dynamic and has more notes. So, if you want more tutorials about music production, about making beats and trying various audio effects, consider subscribing and I will make more tutorials in the future. Stay tuned and happy producing!